And Democrats who live in Canada are plotting strategy to oust Donald Trump. About 620,000 US voters live in Canada, but only 5% of them cast a ballot in 2016. Many Democrats here at home are targeting the swing state of Michigan to change that. For more, let's bring in Steve Nardi. He is the chair of Democrats Abroad Canada. He joins us now to talk more about this initiative. Steve, thank you for your time and joining us on CTV News Channel. Let's start with numbers. About 620,000 US voters live in Canada, but only 5% of them cast a ballot in 2016. Why do so few vote?
It's an interesting question, Akshay. Many do not vote because they don't know that they're eligible to vote. They think once they've left the U.S. that's a right that they have given up, which is not the case. Others think that it's a very complicated process to request a ballot, and at a site like our site at votefromabroad.org, it's a very easy process with the help desk to assist members or Americans to get their ballot request in.
So tell us a little more, Steve. How are you driving voters to come out and vote this time around?
And it's been interesting since November 9th of 2016, where normally after a general election, your membership tends to slow down and drop off. We've actually had the opposite. So we've had Americans joining our organization since the day after the last election. With COVID, we had to pivot and reevaluate what our get out the vote activities would look like in 2020. So we've been doing some legacy type activities, phone banking, where we've called every one of our members across Canada. Interestingly, things like we've had volunteers who hand-colored 6,000 postcards that went out to swing state voters who hadn't requested their ballot yet. We've got an extensive investment in our digital social media strategy. We've been operating some speaker town halls, and we've had the benefit also of the voices this year of former U.S. Ambassador to Canada, Bruce Heyman, and his wife, Vicky, who have been incredible champions helping get the word out. And you may have seen also the Toronto Raptors have engaged this time around in reaching Americans across Canada.
Interesting. So a lot of help coming your way as well. So it's been very different as compared to 2016 and 2020 now, Steve. What have you been hearing from the people you've been pushing to vote?
There is a lot of incentive, a lot of motivation for people to request their ballots. Just to date, or a few days ago, the ballot requests out of Canada are up 44% from the whole election cycle, and that's through the votefromabroad.org website. Other websites reporting double the traffic, and people are very motivated, and there's various reasons. It may be healthcare and what we watched our friends and family contend with as COVID was approaching the U.S. and the lack of transparency, the environment and the blacked out skies in British Columbia from the historic forest fires, the attack on women's rights, LGBTQ plus rights. There's a lot of different motivators, the racial injustice that we've all watched on the streets, and the effects of a second term are not going to stop at the border. And Americans across Canada recognize that they have an ability to change this outcome. Right. And so much so that I've actually been contacted by Republicans who have been lifelong Republicans that are now voting Democratic for the first time, and even helping us phone bank our other members.
Interesting developments and a great conversation. Steve Nardi, chair of the Democrats Abroad Canada, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Akshay.